Well guys, welcome to the first episode of Ray Hunt. During the series we will cover the blonde ray, small-eyed ray, spotted ray, thornback ray and of course the undulate ray. Gonna get together with a few anglers from the different parts of the coastline to be involved with this series. To start the episode off, myself and Ansari were down on the south coastline targeting small-eyeds and spotteds. It's still a bit early for down here really. But we're down on the rocks and fingers crossed we can get something out. Been down here now probably about an hour. The area we're fishing, you've got a chance of picking up small-eyed spotteds, dogfish, bass. Hopefully we can get our target species today. But having said that, ray fishing does take time and you will go through a lot blank sessions when targeting this species. So fingers crossed today we can try and get something out. But we will cover the footage from today, even if we blank, to obviously show you the time and the effort what goes in to try and target this species. South Devon and Cornwall coastline is got some superb ray fishing around this area, and if you put the time in to seek your species, you will get the rewards. So I'm going to go over the wheel now. It's going to fire a bait out, and we're basically using sand deal on pulley drop down rigs and hitting them as far as we can. Having said that, Will is going to be fishing one at distance and one closer in. Reason being, it's a bit rougher ground close in, and spotteds normally like to go around this sort of area. So Will's technique today will be one at distance for the small-eyeds and one closer in for the spotteds. So let's get at it. So here we are. As you saw, Will just casted one out. Fingers crossed we get some in the day. Still very early for this species along this sort of stretch of coastline. Having said that, the odd one's coming out but not in big numbers. As you can see behind me, the water's flat. We've got heavy northeasterly winds today, and the mark we've chosen we knew would be protected from the wind. Believe it or not, at the moment it's 29 to 30 mile an hour northeasterlies, and as you can see, no wind at all down where we are. So picking venues is the key.
We're down here raying today off the Cornish coastline, and lo and behold, a bass has took it. One of the bycatches of ray fishing. One of the reasons why I love ray fishing is there's so many species you can catch. It just opens up the doors to so many things. But lovely little prime, only a little schoolie, but at least I've beaten the blank today, and here we go. It's getting back in the water for a release.
As that swell comes up, I'll let it go.
Here we go, the fight another day. Off she goes. Beautiful. It's nothing massive, but nice way to start the day. It's gone back lovely, and hopefully it'll be bigger next year.
Bit early still, isn't it, boy?
A little bit early, but it's always worth a shot. We tend to get the ray down here on the south coast pretty much all year round, if I'm quite honest. Not in numbers, but the small-eyeds and the spotteds tend to stay around most of the year. We've got a few spotteds showing around the south coast at the moment, haven't we? So we're down on a local ray mark known by a fair few top anglers, open to see one out today. They're getting them on plenty of the beaches to the left and to the right of where we're fishing today. But we thought we'd venture down
You've got the small-eyed ray, you've got the spotted ray, the thornback ray, the undulate ray, and my favourite, and obviously Will's favourite, the blonde ray. Now I've had blondes to like 16-10. This young man has had some cracking blonde ray. I think your biggest is?
£20.12.
£20.12.
£20.12, yeah.
Monster fish.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but I've had a few now, just over the £20 mark. Had a beaut started last year, like this time last year.
I think many viewers remember the
Bristol Channel
targeting thornback, so you pulled a £20 blonde off a reef, and being there and witnessing it, a lot of people wouldn't have caught that fish. just being in the conditions he was fishing in with the reef, with that sort of size fish and the power of it, is hard to control in a reef. And I think the main thing for you was to get it up. You knew you had a good fish from the beginning.
I mean, look, none of us like to bully a fish, but when you're fishing over a reef mark at that distance, you've got to bully it.
Yeah,
pump him wind. I've got him up on the surface.
I remember watching
and then it's all about control. Really,
yeah, watching your rod go over, and you were straight away bang. And from the minute you had it on, it was a case of reeling down and reeling up. And that is a key to ray fishing, is to get it up off the bottom, away from any mixed ground, and try and get it up to the surface, and that gets you the fish.
Well, as we know, we can all be put in the right area and catch good fish, but it's knowing how to control them and handle them.
Stay connected with the fish at all times is a big
being in connection, keeping that line tight, keeping your rod tip up, knowing when you're reeling down, you're still connecting with the fish, and hopefully you get the rewards at the end of it.
That's it, mate.
Well, you got to look at your quarry. You got to think about what you're targeting, what it is you want. Whether you want a spotted ray, a small-eyed ray, a blonde ray, a thornback ray, an undulate. They do tend to live over different grounds. Majority of them will be in the same areas. Now, if I was targeting a nice spotted, I'd be in close, looking for broken ground, sand, bit of rock, bit of kelp. Tends to be what they like. If I'm out looking for the small eye, then definitely I'm looking for big open expanses of clean sand, clean ground, and maybe a little bit of chop on the water. But if I'm out for the blondes, then I'm definitely looking for that flat calm, perfect day, and lovely clear sand. You do want to see some features wherever you're fishing. You've got to look for features. You've got to get on Google. You've got to study your ground. You've got to put in your own work, up and down cliff marks, and don't put yourself in any danger by any means, but get yourself up and down these places. Look for your big tides, look to go out over low water, see what the ground holds, and then hopefully that way you'll get yourself some success of maybe targeting the fish you really want. Well, where can you catch a ray? Now, I'll tell them a spot or a mark, and they'll go, and then they'll ring me up the next day and say, yeah, you give me a duff mark, I've blanked. That isn't the case. With any fishing, as you know, it's an hours game. Dedication, sleepless nights, late hours, getting home, hardly having any sleep, getting home, no tea, getting that bait out of the freezer, hitting the road, and getting on your mark. And if you can do that night after night, you will get the fish. Don't think you can, for 1 second, you can go out once or twice a month and catch the fish we're catching. If you do, you're very, very lucky. But the hours and the blanks that go into it that nobody sees is unbelievable. I mean, last year I probably came to the same mark 20 or 30 times and completely blank, nothing and nothing. Bait's coming in untouched, and it gets a bit disheartening. But perseverance is the key. My best bit of advice for any angler is put the hours in and you will be rewarded. Cool, blimey. Well, it took a lot of hours and sleepless nights, burning the candles at both ends, but best night on the rays I ever had. I think I had 7 rays, all over 17 pound, being blondes. I think the biggest going was 20 pound 7 that night. But I've got a picture, Andy's seen it, and I'm holding 2 rays of. I had one that was 17.5 pound, and before I could even get that one in, I had my other rod screaming off on the ratchet, and lo and behold, there it was, another 18.5 pounder. So, but that night I think I had about 7 rays down here, and I was here till must have been 10 o'clock the next morning. I had 2 sand eels left, and I thought, should I pack up and go home? My eyes was closing over, and you know it gets in your turd. You've been out all night. I thought, I'll stuff it. I'll put on these last 2 sand eels. And I sat back on the rocks, and I must have closed my eyes for 5 minutes, dozed off, and I woke up to a screaming reel. And I'm sure Andy will show you some pictures later of the monster I pulled in.
Well guys, this is what you're going to expect when ray fishing, and a lot of them. Dogfish, not the best thing in the world. They're like a plague. Last thing we ever want to see is to get loads of these. Half the time they're just destroying the ray baits before the ray get a chance to pick them up. But I've had 2 so far, which is not what we want, but fingers crossed we can get something out here.